Jai Hind to all. My name is Aarti Chaudhary. I'm assistant professor in IT department. In today's session, we will cover a important topic of blockchain architecture design, that is Hyperledger Fabric. As we know that it's a data blockchain, and in this blockchain, what we are having is what are the components of the blockchain, what is the Hyperledger Fabric we are using, how can we use it. All these things to be discussed in our slides, that what are the Hyperledger, what is Hyperledger, what are the actors used in the blockchain. There were many persons involved in that, architect also involved, the person who is giving the services also involved, the person who is taking the services of blockchain is also involved, the users are also there, the ledger are also there, there was channels to communicate with each other, because we are as we know that the blockchain is to be it has a distributed or decentralized manner. So all that thing has to be coordinated between these actors by using in a blockchain. And what are the components, briefly describe, or what are the components which we use in a Hyperledger Fabric. So what is, as we briefly define that blockchain defines, it is a design pattern which is famous by using a Bitcoin. When we are using in the past Bitcoin or to make a money double and all these things. So that thing comes a picture of blockchain in our mind. But the blockchain is beyond the Bitcoin also. So we are having a Ethereum and Hyperledger Fabric, all these things come to a picture and make it a reliable, and all that thing we will also develop a real world application onto a blockchain. It is beyond Bitcoin also. So this is the scenario ki we are using not blockchain for the Bitcoin, but it is other applications also. We can use in voting also, we are using in Aadhaar card also. So when we are making it in a real world application, then we get many things come out from the blockchain. Okay, then what is the idea behind it? That the blockchain can reimagine the world to use our business interactions between, and it opens a door between them. So in the business also, business interaction also, business when two parties are doing a business, we also use blockchain into it. So this is not a Bitcoin format. Enterprises are adopting, because we are having a opportunity into a blockchain, because as the characteristics of it is immutable. So all that immutable thing has to be, that is, no one can change, and if anyone changes it, so we will get to know about who had changes. So that thing plays important role, and that's make the Bitcoin to come into a business also, and enterprises are also adopting it. So they were making a software of blockchain, and business are adopting that software. The one of the software, that is Hyperledger Fabric, which blockchain they are using a blockchain technology. What are the components? How can we use it in a business? What are the things? What are the actors are occurring into it? All this has to be there. So they are having official sites of it. So we are having briefly defined version. We are having a problem of that these are party A, B, C, D, and this is a auditor, this is a bank record. All these things we are having a records. Individuals, they are having a records. So all that records has to be have to be transferred between each other. But there was no reliable thing to make that trust. If we are sending this to the party A to B, या A to C, या A to auditor, so that thing that in between, that record is not manipulated, is not edited. So that thing has become a very inefficient, expensive and vulnerable, because when we are doing business, we are having a records, we have to transfer the records and all that. In person we can't go it, because we are doing a business to America or Germany, so we can't do it. We will communicate via network, no? So that has to be plays a very important role. Too difficult to make that record is reliable or is not changed. So that thing is solved by the blockchain. by using a shared we are using a consensus here, consensus protocols here. There was proven immutable finality, which is a property of the blockchain we are using here. So all that records is to be shared between this is shared, replicated and permissioned. So we are sharing it. If we are replicating one to other, A to B, A to C, A to D, A to bank, A to auditor, we are replicating it and permissioned also. No one can change it. If anyone changes it, so we are having an identity. At this time, the public ledger or shared ledger is to be changed, a shared record is to be changed, and this is the thing we are having. So this solution is come by using blockchain. So that's why the blockchain becomes a fast growing thing, and we are having a research into it. So we are having a hyperledger. These are the benefits. So why how can we use into a business also? What are the key components we can use in, because we are introducing into a business enterprise version. The first one is shared ledger. Second is smart contract. Third is consensus, and fourth is security. When we are sharing data, these four things are making a beneficial. That's why we are using a blockchain into it. So we are a shared ledger. That shared ledger has to be shared between all the parties. That is, if you are writing something into a record, that is visible to the other parties also, which is in a business network. Other is shared contract. Business, when we are doing a business with anyone, we have to be a smart contract between them. So the transaction has to be in database. That transaction has to be immutable, finality. We are making a blocks of it. So that's why we are having a smart contracts under it. Next is consensus. All the parties and they are verified. So in a Bitcoin, they are having a permissionless network. We don't know the identity of the person, but in a permissioned blockchain we are using, a semi-permissioned blockchain we are using, we are having an identity, and which person is coming, which person is not coming, we are know about them. Because as a person, we don't know the identity, that create a problem to us, making a network unreliable. So but we are having a formation of semi permissioned also, permissioned also. Security, because we are having sharing a shared ledger into it, so we are having a transaction are secure also, authentic and verified also. So that is you are having a authentic data when you are transferring from one business to other, that is verifiable also and authentic also, and visible to all of them, assuring that we are having this will give a benefit us to use a blockchain, and it will make a reduced time, as the transaction time is to be instantaneous, cost also, risk also, because we are having a security here also, and enables the business models to use it. So more and more business will using it, the blockchain, and then they becomes a market high, and they get a profit of it, and we are giving authenticate. That's why we are using our blockchain into our businesses. So as we are saying that when we are coming from degree of centralization, in which in our permissionless public and shared, that is a Bitcoin, we are having a permissionless network. Public will any public person will come and join it without revealing its identity, and a shared network, because all can use it. But this is decentralized way. As we have go for our other, that is permissioned also. Permission, where we will get to know about the identity. You will enter into a blockchain or in any shared network and shared system, because they are having a document has to be shared between them, and this is public also. This will goes to permission, private and shared. Permission, private and share, and it will mention. So here we have distributed ledger with to our centralized ledgers, and it will a typically system we are using here. So we are having a shared also, private also, and permissioned also. We are having, so we are having a permissionless, we are having a semi-permission, we can use it, and this is permissioned, we are using it. So we are having a three types of the blockchain as a, so the degree of the centralization go from the decentralized to centralized, 100% centralized. So all these are the what are the difference between the permissionless and permission access is when we are permissionless, so anyone can write it and read it. You have to get a permission to write it. Scale is you have large number of nodes. Anyone can come into it. Any public person also come into it without revealing the identity. So we are having a large number of nodes and not in a, but they are not giving a transaction throughput into it. But when we are using a permission, we are having a less number of node, because all nodes has to be authentic and permissioned, and so scale in a terms of transaction throughput, that will increase into it. Consensus, we have a proof of work and proof of stake. When we come into it, we have to authenticate it, we have to verify it, we have to making that the document is to be secure. So we have a proof of work, POW and PO of S in our permissionless, but as a closed member, we are having an algorithm, we will use it. So next is identity. We are having enormous, any person can come without revealing the identity, but when we are having a permission, we have to make that the node has to be known, because we have a storing the identity, because we are making a key of it. So we will see it when we are using a Hyperledger fabric. Okay, all these identities are saved. User identity, orderer identity, a peer identity, everything has to be saved into it. So if anyone changes it, we get to know about it. So because we have to make a distributed decentralized manner, but we have to trust each other to make a business out of it, to make a profit of it. So then we are using a blockchain here. So the identity is to be there, and the assets, the asset that is native asset, we are having any asset, date, state, anything you can do it with it. So this is a Linux Foundation Hyperledger project, in which we are collaborating that advanced blockchain technology by identifying and addressing the important features of cross-industry open standards and distributed ledger, because we are having a decentralized way. So how can we do business, and what are the cross-industry we are having a demands of it. So we are having collaborated with a blockchain technology, and we will transfer into these are the things which is come into our Hyperledger project. So what is Hyperledger fabric we are using as in blockchain, but we are having Hyperledger Indus, Grid, Aloha. So any company will want to use it, they will call it, they will pay for it, they will rent the project, yeah, they will take up purchase it, and then after they will use into their business models. So this is a site where we are having a www.hyperledger.org. all these are the members, because there are some members, some premium members. We are having a Hitachi, that is Accenture, Infosys, DTT, all these IBMs are the members. These are the partial list. This is a general partial list. This is associate also. This is so all these are the members which are the Hyperledger members we are having when they are founding it. So all these members we are having in 2017 release of 159 developers from our 27 organization we are using. So all these are focusing on ledger, smart contracts, and consensus, confidentiality, verifiability, scalability. All these things are to be there. According to the watch model you are using, you will purchase in from the site Hyperledger site, which is the use of Hyperledger here, and we will discuss a Hyperledger fabric and its component here. Okay, so they are using a blockchain technology for developing any blockchain application, any real-time application you want to use it, you will call as a blockchain Hyperledger fabric, and then after you will use it. You have to purchase it. So these are the composer. How this works, we will briefly describe it. What is how a Hyperledger fabric composer? It is a suite in which we are having a business application, and we are a composer, and a blockchain, that is a Hyperledger Fabric we are using. So we are having a middleware, that is a Hyperledger composer, in which we are having a suite of high level application abstract to a business network. So we are having a business network that is of any company, and we are a Hyperledger. So we are in our middle, we are having a Hyperledger composer into it. So we are emphasizes on the business centric to get a solution, to get a model of it. It will reduce the risk, increase the understandability and flexibility to use that model. Okay, these are the features that is partially open and part of the with the fully open. You can use it, and then after you will get to it version. If you used to use other APIs also, they will maybe they will charge for it. Okay. What are the features? They are the modeling business network and test and explore by using our APIs. An application invoke the transaction into a business because they are having a network, and then after they are using a Hyperledger Fabric into it, and then after you have to make the transaction has to be reliable into it. Integrating edges because they are having an existing system. So the Hyperledger Fabric will be suited with the existing system. Also, they will collaborate with the existing system. They don't have to make it test. So we have to try it by our web browsers. That is this. Okay, next what are the actors of the blockchain solution we are having so we are having in blockchain, what is a regulator? It will these are the actors which we are having. So that is architect we are having, that is making the architecture and design of blockchain solution. If you are having a problem and you are having any thing, so the architect will design and architecture, make a architecture which is suitable according to a blockchain solution. Next is user. As we are using in business any business model, or we are having any business network, so we have to interact with the application. That application is not, we are not aware about, the user is not aware about the blockchain, but we are in that, okay, we have to interact with the blockchain, and so that interaction has to be so smooth, interfacing is to be there, so interactive that the blockchain user can use it. Next is blockchain regulator. In blockchain regulator, we are having a overall authority in a business network we are having. So any person will come into it, any ledger will come into it. It is having a permission of a regulator. Next, we are have a developer. That developer will have an application that is developed with into it, and the smart contracts that interact with the users. So user their developer will create a smart contract that will use, how can you use it, what are the problems, what are the algorithms we are using in that. Operator, it will manage and monitor the blockchain network, and each business in a network have a one operator, network operator, which is managing all that architect part, regulator part, developer part, user part, all that thing. Membership services, when you are using a permission blockchain, you have to be a certain certification that you are using it, and so that will give a certification that you are a permit person, and we are having your identity with us, and that identity has to be not read, but anything suspicious has happened, we are having an identity that you have done it. So all that membership services has to be provided. All the traditional processing platform that we are having existing system, because any business is running into a market, so we are having an existing computer system. The blockchain has to be collaborate with that existing system and initiate a request by using a blockchain. Traditional data sources, where our data has to be saved, what are the smart contracts, how the mention, because we have to save our data into that scenario. All these are the actors which are come into when we are using a blockchain solution. These are the actors which are using into it. So we will focusing on the what are the components of the blockchain solution components, or we can say Hyperledger components we are having. Ledger, what are the ledger? Ledger is that when we are having a record, when a business one or business two have to make a business with each other, have to have a thing, so you have to make a business, so do you have a ledger which is communicating with through a net with channel. That channel has to be a network. So that is, every peer has to be maintain a ledger, and ledger has to be communicated with a channel. So that peer, peer 1, peer 2, so all this has to be a channel, and at that channel peer 1 and peer 2 has to be, and they are having a ledger 1 and ledger 2 that is shared between them. We are using in the blockchain. Smart contracts are what are the version, when we are running a ledger into it, with that smart contract is a business logic what we are use for modifying the assets also. All the assets what we want to say, what the business is. If a car business, then we are having a car asset. We are having a bank business, so we are having a bank assets. All that asset that is belonging to a business. Okay. Next is peer network. We are having a peers to peers are connected in a distributed or decentralized manner. We are having a transactional flow or a flow of a data or ledgers into it. That's why when we are having a transaction, so we are communicating with the help of, when we are using a blockchain, we are communicating with the blocks. So all the blocks is considering all the transactions. All the transactions are verifiable, and verifiable they are put into a block, and then after blocks has to be transferred into a peer network. Membership is when we are having any permissioned network, what we have to be authentic, authorized and manage identity. When we are using a permission network, the person which is coming into it or going out of it, we are having a identity, that is real identity of it. We have verified identity of it. Events, that is create a notifications in a blockchain. When we are using a related to a smart contract, that event, this is happening, this is happening, all these transaction has to be recorded into a blocks. System management, it will provide the ability to create and manage and monitor the blockchain components. All these components has to be managed by, there was many monetary person has to be there. So that is the system management has to be wallet. This securely manage user security credits. All that credits, how much they are having, how much they are making, all these is to be saved there in a wallet. System integration, when we are having a existing external systems, we are having, so we have a bi-directional call. They are sending us to, we are sending to blockchain, so that thing has to be coordinated. So that thing has to be maintained by the system integration, because we are in a business scenario, we are having other systems also, so that has to be collaborated to a blockchain and that thing. So in that, what is an example, how can we create a transaction and all that. For example, it is in a simple language. When we are sending a transaction input sent by our application, invoke my contract set owner, it's a car company, car owner, car manager, they are making a smart contract that new owner is making a set car owner. So we are making that thing into application. That application is going into a smart contract, and that contract is to be made into a state of world state that is to be saved there. So we are making a query here by invoking that thing, and when we are setting that new owner is equals to set car dot owner, and we are making that my car, if we are making that my I am become a owner, so my car vehicle number is this, owner is this, make is this, all that thing has to be there. So this as a ledger has to be followed, and this is saved into a world state that is in database. All the things has to be maintained and into a database at the end of the day. Okay, next is how the application interact. And when we are having a developer who develops the client application SDK, submit that thing into a smart contract and emits, because it will create an event of it. Then after when we are having a smart contract, what we have to do is that has to be recorded. If you are putting something, so you have to put something, you will get it and you will fetch something, you will delete it something, that instant has to be deleted from them. So that thing has to be there, that has been a what that where the blockchain comes into our picture, and we are having a world state which is having all these put and all operation, and we are also have a recording because all the transaction has to be recorded. So that will create a thing for that will create a blocks of the blockchain. So that is to be the work of the blockchain here. And we are having a peer also. Every peer is doing all this. So developer is interacting to application, then we are having a smart contract, it will create an event there. When we are having a thing saved into a database or into a blockchain as a transaction, so what we have to do is we have to get and delete all that the records, and all that record has to be saved into a ledger. This is a way that the application is interacting to a ledger. So how this events will pass, we will see that in that when we are having a event transactions, and we are having a new transaction, we are having a every transaction has to be have a event handler, and then we are having an application that it will display that to the user, it will display transfer committed. So all that thing is there. So we are having a trigger handlers for it. Every event we are have a trigger handlers. So events are asynchronous. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are having a asynchronous processing system that is used in a blockchain. One another. So we have to make it a thing and making a blocks of it. So the blockchain can emit events and help the application programmer to validate it. Or if it's not validating, we are rejecting it. If we are rejecting that, we are not saying that the transaction is valid. If it's invalid, we are rejecting them. If we are valid, we have to validate it and add to a block. We are making a blocks now because it is a blocks of chain. So we are making a authentic blockchain. We are having authentic transaction, and then after we are adding to it. Even from external system have to trigger this blockchain activity. That is, if we are having any event that is handled, and then after, if it's validate or invalidate, we will act like accordingly. These are the blockchain events. So what are the possibility? Can we see that when this is a possibility when we are having an existing system, we are doing a business, so we any business having an existing system, we are taking a blockchain into it. So we are having a blockchain network, that is any network, Hyperledger fabric you are using an existing system, so it will make a system events, then initially, and then after it we are having a blockchain events calling in a call. So there is a call between a system existing system also and a blockchain event blockchain network also. So all this collaboration will happen, and it will make a call, and it will have a transfer between them, and it will make a update of that into a call of existing system, and that existing system will happen accordingly. So it is a two-way exchange between them. So these are the components which we are used into our Hyperledger fabric. We are briefly describe them. So any organization which is having is a major component of what a peer, client, ordering, member, and chain code. All these are the component which will create a purpose to it. Any client is also using a peer. We are having membership. We are having a membership that a person is to be authentic and on having an identity. Chain code is any smart contracts we are using into it. So these are the four phases when we are having it is endorsement, enduring, ordering, and validating, and committing to it to make a beautiful organization to it. So we are having a members, users, and all are having a identity. Organization is also having identity, peer is also having an identity, everyone is having an identity. So all are having a Hyperledger fabric. So we are using in 1 and 3 is using a peer, and this is used for ordering. When we third party, we are using ordering it to make an order of any service we into it. So this peer is also ordering, and this peer is also ordering into a custodian environment. So these are the things. We are having a chain code, ledger also, chain code also, events also. All these things has to be there, which is used to communicate with the ledgers in a network. So this is a chain code which we are having a smart contracts which is used to update the ledger. We are having, every person has having a blockchain ledger, so that ledger has to be read also or update also by using a chain code into it. So we are having a verified member according to it. So all these things are to be there into a chain code. So we are having a Hyperledger fabric, we are having a blocks, we are have a file system, we are having every block have read, write, update commands, and we are having. So we will have a state, and if it's committed, it will go into a block. If it's not committing, we are not sending into, validating it, and then after making a component of it. We are having a channel that when the ledgers are communicating between the organization to organization, we have proper channels with into it, and these members has to be communicate with it by using that channels. So we are having channels in this, we are organization this, and we are having this. So these are the channels which can use into ordering service we are running. That channel has to be single channel also and multi-channel also, two-way also, that multiple channels, they are ordering for the multiple channels, single channel also, multiple channel also. So when we are having a MSP, that is membership, this is a component of, when we are having that person is to be using a permissioned blockchain, we are having an ID also, sign also, verify also, validate ID also. So all that parties that are using into it, they are having an abstract identity provider, and it is provided to it by a MSP provider, in which it will use a channel or not, it will use a chain code or not. So all these things has to be there. It is mentioned into that verifiable thing, sign, verification, and ID, and it will become, if it is having this, then it is became a member of it. So this is an overview of how we are using it, or by using a Fabric CA, that is a consortium provider we are having, external consortium provider, here internal also we are having. Membership provider, we are having a certificate also, public key infrastructure also. All these things are provided when we are adding that member into this. So this is the crypto service provider, and we are having this, we are plugging the implementation of hardware and software by using this, all these services, crypto service provider. What were the fiber code you are using, what are the interfaces you are using, all these things has to be provided, and we are a multiple CSP also in this. So we are having a fiber, next this is fiber CA, that is a fiber certificate authority, which are having a membership which is default implemented by MSP, but we are having here also, which will provide the authority to that you are authority. We are having a certificate of it which is used into it. Okay. So we are having a certificate, and it will having a root certificate authority also, and we are having a database authority and the authentic, which is having a ID and securely, which is making that thing that you are an authenticate user and you using it. Okay. So what we are using is TLSs. We are using because we for the security we are also using, so we are using cryptographic protocols, also using privacy and data integrity, that my data is not lost between peer-to-peer communication by using a channel, and all thing has to be using by cryptography, by public key or a private key, what we are using here. So we are having a user identity also, admin identity also, bilkul having a key there with a number, and peer to orderer identity also. All these things has to be saved with a certificate into it, with a private key into it, with to a fiber CA also. Everything has to be saved into a blockchain. So that's why it creates a boom into a enterprise by having this services into it. So we are having a proper channel into it. So what are the, any new person has to register, they will come there and enroll it by using, have an admin part, and we have a certification part and application part. The new user also can come and create an identity and then after enroll into it. So this is all these things are to be there. So you have a signing process, we have validating process, we are making a response process, then where the sign is delivered to it, you have ordered anything, you are validating that. So all this is transaction signing of every transaction you are having. So that is making it immutable. That's why we are using a blockchain into a real-time application now to it. So these are the cryptogen. We are having a certification, signing keys, all these cryptography is also there, distributed also there, immutable also there. So these are combining, it will become a emerging technology for it. So always end this with a briefly about how the Hyperledger fabric is there, what are the components, why we are using it, what are the things which when we are using into a business, what are the things which will come into a picture, as fiber CA or MSP and all these things. So it will briefly describe into it, and next lecture we will continue it. Thank you.